In rapidly changing times, having a sense of safety and security is important. This month, I'm giving tips on how to return to an inner sense of well-being. I'm Tanya D., registered dietitian, and since we live in a body, have a soul, and are a spirit, it's important to feed all three parts. This month, my recommendation for the body is to consciously seek out ways to get grounded. A couple things you can do is, just like it sounds, you can sit on the ground or you can lay down on the ground. And there's something about the energetic quality of the earth, the electromagnetic field, that when we sit and we connect with the earth, or we lay down just right on the earth, our body really tends to release and let go. So there was a reason why in therapy they used to lay you flat on the ground, and that's because your body tends to reset all of the systems. But I'll tell you, recently I was in Wyoming and I spent some time in the forest, and I did some what's called forest bathing. And I'd go out into the forest, and it was very quiet, and just sit next to a tree. And in 5 or 10 minutes, I just felt this incredible amount of groundedness and peace come over me. So when things are shifting around and you might feel an increase in anxiety, try to just find a way to ground the body, and this will help to balance the mind out. So for the overall message for feeding the soul this month, and remember, the soul is our mind, our emotions, and our will. So the soul tends to be pretty active. The soul is our self. So this is soul care. What I'm recommending is meditation. And as most of you know, I teach a Christ-centered meditation and prayer practice. But overall, the benefits of meditation for our soul is so profound that this month I'm really encouraging everyone to just give meditation a try. And let's talk about meditation and the mind. Meditation really helps us to increase our focus. So when there's so many rapidly changing things, and you might have a lot of different feelings about that, focusing on one thing can be very, very helpful. So in meditation, you can focus on your breath, which is also spirit. So you're focusing on God's spirit coming in and out of you. Or you can focus on your heart, and that's really what I recommend. As you sit still and focus on your heart, the mind tends to slow down, because the mind is about solving problems and working, and when you bring yourself down into your heart, it's really more of a sense of beingness. So now you're practicing well-being. You're practicing being well. Practice sitting and dwelling in your heart, and that's of course where Christ lives in our heart. So his peace, love, kindness, joy, everything's found down here in our heart. So if we can take our mind and during meditation just move it down here, we tend to really feel this sense of safety and security and well-being. So meditation for our emotions. One of the things that I realized early on in meditation is when we meditate, we're really practicing the virtue of patience, because just choose a time that you're going to sit. I'm going to sit for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And what you'll realize as soon as you sit is the mind will start talking to you, the emotions, it will come up like, oh, I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling angry. So all these feelings will come up. And so will your will. Like it'll start saying, oh, I want a cup of coffee, or I don't want to do this. So I. So basically, meditation practice is really a practice of patience, because if you can learn to sit still and be patient with yourself, your soul, then you're really going to be able to have that patience wherever you take your body. So sitting in meditation, just if your mind starts to get too loud and all that, your soul really starts to become active in meditation, because the soul ultimately wants you to see you. So when you sit in meditation, you're finally like kind of focused inward. The soul's going to be, hey, great, I got your attention. But what you can do is just consciously return to being patient. Okay, I'm being patient. And you'll really develop the virtue of patience. So when you're with somebody else and their soul is kind of going crazy or very active, you can be patient with them as well. So meditating with our will. So the will is I want this, I don't want that. Our will is our desires. And one of the things I really like to do with my own will is to sit and listen to the things that, and I'll even ask, what are the things that currently make me feel alive? Aliveness. So our will is, if we can listen to those deep desires, those deep callings in our soul that come from our will, and we pursue those things, what thing really makes you feel alive and awake? For me, it's going to be different because everyone's soul is different. Those callings are different for each individual. And when we can pursue the things that, our will combined with God's will are our authentic calling, then we tend to feel more alive. And this will increase our feelings of well-being, being true to ourselves. So those are recommendations for our soul. For our spirit, what I recommend is meditation. If you learn to meditate, this is what I tell almost everyone, you're eventually going to run into your spirit, which is a good thing, right? I think that's one of the reasons why meditation is so popular, is because people start to go inside. And our spirit, our human spirit, is also located in our heart throughout our entire body. And so when you have that inner practice, you're going to find spirit. And one of the things to really look for, a quality of the spirit that's very, very beneficial to have, is wisdom. So when you're sitting in meditation and you can even start asking your spirit. The spirit is the lamp of the Lord. It sees your path. It knows your personal how to make decisions, how to keep you safe and secure, how to keep you feeling in a place of well-being. Wisdom is, of course, Christ is the wisdom of God. And Christ is located, again, in our hearts. So seek God's wisdom, even if you have to sit and ask some questions. I like to ask yes or no questions to Christ in my heart, and I'll usually feel the answer or hear the answer right away, like yes, no, yes, no. So anyway, if you can increase wisdom during your meditation practice, if you're increasing the Spirit of Christ, His wisdom in your heart, this naturally increases flow and grace in your life, because you're going to be able to make good decisions that keep you safe, keep you secure, and increase your level of well-being. This has this overall feeling of flow and grace. You're not making a lot of mistakes. You're being patient. You're waiting to hear the wisdom of God in your heart. You're feeling more alive. You're moving towards your calling. So even when there's a lot of distractions on the outside world, it's important that in order to feel really secure, that you feel secure within your soul and your body and your spirit. So once again, I'm Tanya D. Thank you so much. I hope that this was helpful. I'm with Y'all Light, a movement to ignite the light within. Go in grace and go with grace. Have a great month.